everyone that's on here. I'm just gonna wait a few more minutes to see if anyone else comes on. I'm not really expecting too many people, but because this is my first time doing a live Q&A, so I really appreciate everyone that is already tuned in. Yep. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm just going to be doing answering different questions that you guys may have. Yeah, so we're gonna wait until a few more people get tuned in. So, for those tuned in already, I'm not really like too fond, or I don't really know how to use this, the live stream that well. So what I'm doing is I have it on my laptop as well so that I can read you guys' questions. So make sure you use the chat box to ask me any questions that you have related to crime scene so that I can see it, and then I can go ahead and I can respond to your questions live right now. Any questions you have about crime scene, just go ahead and let me know. Okay, let me check back in. Alrighty, so again, whenever you guys have questions, just go ahead and let me know. Make sure you type it in the chat box so that I can actually see the questions that you guys have in regards to crime scene investigation or forensics, and I can give you guys the best answer that I have based on my experience. Yeah, so a little bit of background about me. If you guys haven't already seen my various crime scene videos, my name is Robin, and I am a former crime scene investigator. I was a crime scene investigator in Texas. I still live in Texas. I was a crime scene investigator for about almost 6 years. Yeah, and I worked at a major police department here in Texas. I never shared which one, and that is definitely for a reason. I see Kaman Logic has asked a question. I'm going to get to you, but let me just introduce myself real quick. So, yeah, I always wanted to be a crime scene investigator since I was in the 10th grade. And I went to school at Delaware State University. I got my bachelor's in forensic biology there. And I recently, just a few weeks ago, I finished my master's degree in crime scene investigation. So I have a little bit of experience, and I love to help and to give my knowledge and share my experiences with others who are interested in this field. So that's why I wanted to go live tonight, so that you know, anyone, because I get a lot of questions all the time about crime scene investigation. So I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys the opportunity to ask me those things live, and I'm gonna go ahead and respond to you guys. Okay, so Kaman says, hi, I want to be a private detective like Sherlock Holmes. I actually never read Sherlock Holmes. I know Sherlock Holmes was a book, wasn't it? I never actually read it. But since you mentioned it, it's actually funny because what got me interested, although I didn't read Sherlock Holmes, what actually got me interested when I was like really, really young and I thought that I wanted to be a detective, I like to watch, I don't know if you guys remember, I don't know how old you guys are, but I used to watch this TV show called Blue's Clues. and Blue was like a little detective and would go around searching for different clues. And yeah, so Blue would go around searching for different clues, and I will watch like every episode every time it came on, and I just loved watching Blue's Clues. And that's how I should have known back then that I was going to be a crime scene investigator, because I loved watching Blue's Clues. But yeah, I've never actually seen Sherlock Holmes or read Sherlock Holmes. Um, okay, Jalissa says, "Hi, I hope you're doing well. Congrats to your weddings and pregnancy." Thank you so much, Jalissa. I have a question. Do CSI forensic scientists have to take a polygraph test like cops? Yes. Crime scene investigators. Okay, so there's a difference between crime scene investigators and forensic scientists. So crime scene investigators do have to take polygraphs tests prior to joining the police force. So crime scene investigators, they are not sworn police officers. They are civilian employees of a police department. But because you were joining the police department, you have to undergo some of the same some of the same steps. Like you have to do an interview, you have to do a polygraph, you have to do another type of, basically like it's like a very, very, very long, extensive report on you, basically, like where it just asks you a whole bunch of different questions. What is it called? It's called a history. What is it called? Something about your history, your applicant history or something. History statement. That's what it is. Your history statement. So basically, during the history statement, it might be like 10 pages, it could be like 40 pages. It really just depends. They ask you about prior drug use, they ask you about history of if you've ever been to jail, or if you ever committed any type of crimes, if you've ever been in any fights, anything. Like they want to know like every detail, if you have any tattoos, any scars, anything that like distinguishes you from other people. Like they just want to know everything. Why you want to be a crime scene investigator, every other police department that you've applied to, if you've applied to any other ones, they want to know all your work history, everything. So those are really, really long, and you do those usually prior to doing the polygraph. So that's because during the polygraph test or the polygraph exam or whatever, they usually want to make sure that your answers are lining up, and also to see if you lied, because the polygraph is just basically seeing if you're going to tell the truth or not. Sometimes it can be inconclusive, but they want to see if they can trust you. It's all about trust and integrity. And if you're going to lie, like if you're going to lie on some small questions that are in the polygraph, then you don't really have you're showing that you don't have enough integrity to work for the police department. Great question, Jaleesa. And thank you for congratulating me on my master's. Thank you so much. Kaman says, can a special needs person be a detective and join the force? I know it would be hard. Okay. I'm sure that a person with special needs can be a okay, so let me say this. A detective and a crime scene investigator is two different things. I was never a detective, I was a crime scene investigator. So a detective is a sworn police officer who has been in the police force for a few years. They've been in patrol and they were promoted to a detective. So can a person with special needs be a detective? I'm sure they can. I have seen some detectives like with different disabilities. Maybe it just depends. Like, I don't know how extensive you mean as far as special needs, but I mean, I have seen some detectives or some police officers sometimes that have various disabilities. It could be like as far as something wrong with one of their legs, or like a missing arm or something. Like it really just depends. And it also depends on the police department that they work for. It's definitely going to be a lot harder to do your job. So Okay, so you mean learning disabilities. I just saw that pop up. Okay, so I've never been on the hiring board, so I really don't know as far as how extensive the learning disabilities. Like, do you mean if someone just has like ADHD and it's harder for them to focus, but they know 1 plus 1, they know 2 plus 2, like they know how to read, they know how to write. Like being a crime scene investigator is so like there's a lot of different things that it entails, and it's not like you do have to do a lot of writing. You do have to do a lot of reading because you're writing a lot of reports as a crime scene investigator and reading over them, and multiple times. You have to be able to count, obviously, because there's going to be different pieces of evidence that you may have to count, including money. So there's certain things that you're going to have to be able to do. So I mean, as far as a learning disability goes, I'll just say this. You have to have gone to high school, graduated, or have a GED. And you also, usually for most departments, you have to have a bachelor's degree now. Back in the day, you didn't have to have a bachelor's degree to be a crime scene investigator. Sometimes they would just have people they would just have like people who applied to the police department as a civilian could just become crime scene investigators for different police departments. But now, pretty much across the nation, they want people who have degrees in crime scene investigation to to be the crime scene investigators for that unit, because you've already, if you can get through a bachelor's degree, if you make it all the way up to a bachelor's degree and you graduated, then obviously you have the ability to learn. So it's not necessarily like you're going to be hindered by a learning disability because you've already made it that far. If that makes any sense, I hope that answered your question. Okay. Terry says, do you ever have nightmares or think about the crime scenes you've been on? Yes. I do think about the crime scenes that I've been on. I've not had a nightmare about a crime scene before. Yeah, I've never had a nightmare about a crime scene, but I have thought about crime scenes that I've been on before. And I spoke about this in another one of my crime scene videos, about why I quit being a crime scene investigator. Part 2, if you haven't checked it out already, it's on my channel. After you watch this live, go and check that out. So I'll go a little bit into, I'm not going to go into too much details, but I'll tell you guys a little bit of why again. So one of the breaking points for one of the scenes that kind of broke me in regards to being a crime scene investigator that I think about from time to time is when I saw a man. I watched a man die, and that was a very negative experience, and it was a very, very hard experience because as a crime scene investigator, you're not trained to watch anyone die. You're not supposed to watch anyone die. When you get to a scene, they're already either supposed to be dead, or they're not supposed to be at the scene, or they're supposed to be alive with injuries. So you're not supposed to be there watching someone die, like literally at the scene, not even at a hospital, like at the scene you're watching them die. So basically, this man, he was hit by a vehicle, and they thought that he was dead when they called me out, and I went to the scene. I was about to start taking pictures and everything, and I noticed that he was still breathing. The other officers and stuff that was there, at first they didn't think that he was still breathing. They thought it was the wind. I was like, it's not the wind, this man is breathing, etc., etc. Long back and forth between me, the detectives, the officers, and then we got the fire department to come back out. Eventually, it took them a while. When they finally came back out, they went back and forth with the detectives, saying they wasn't going to take the man, even though the man was breathing. And the man, he had like, okay, so part of his brain was like, exposed because he had a fracture, like a skull fracture. So some of his skull, like the bone from his skull was off. His head was open at the top. You could see part of his brain. Some like small pieces of brain were out like on the ground, and he was laying down like on his chest. And yeah, like you knew that he was alive because he was breathing and he moved his arm. And that's how I was trying to tell him. I'm like, look, he needs to go to the hospital. This isn't, like this isn't a homicide. They thought it was, I mean, not a homicide, a traffic fatality. They thought it was a traffic fatality, and it wasn't. So it was a mess. It was a lot of back and forth, and that is the scene that really really got to me, and I still think about from time to time. So there's another scene. That I actually think about. I think about it sometimes, but not as often. I think about the one where I watched the man die. So the other scene I think about often, or sometimes, is this is the only crime scene that made me cry. Like the only crime scene that made me cry. And it was nothing super crazy that I saw there. It was the person that I had to deal with. So the complainant. One thing that happened at this crime scene was, this was my first year, and this was probably 3 months after I got off of training. Yeah, so because again, I was a crime scene investigator for almost 6 years, so this happened during my first year. That was the only time that I cried, and it wasn't when I was at the scene, it was when I got back. So basically, I went to a residential burglary at this lady's house. The lady claimed to have had a bunch of things stolen, people broken in, and a bunch of stuff was missing. Her clothes was missing and all this other stuff. Shoes was missing, different items, blah, blah, blah. So I'm talking to this lady, and I noticed, like, okay, I'm a spiritual person and I'm a Christian. So I feel like when someone's vibe or someone's energy is off, or if it's like very negative, or if I feel like they have like something demonic or something within them, then I feel like I can feel it. So this lady was off, and I could tell when I walked up the stairs, because she lived in an apartment on the second floor. Oh my gosh, so craziest thing, it was like when I was walking up to the apartment, before I even got upstairs, I was walking up to the apartment, there was a black cat sitting right in front of the stairs that I had to walk up. And I'm not superstitious or nothing, but like the black cat was there and it was just staring at me. And then I was like, move. And then it finally like moved. It was just sitting there, and then it finally moved. And but that was weird. That was that was the first sign that it was gonna be weird. So I walked up the stairs, and the door was already open. The door was open, and the lady was just standing there like, and she had on all black. It's funny because I have on black. So she had on all black, and she was just standing there like just standing there like blank face, not saying anything. And I looked at the door number, and I was like, hi, are you so and so? Did you put in a request about blah blah blah? Someone broke into your house or something. Whatever I said. This was like 6 years ago. So she was like, yeah, I've been waiting for you. And I was like, okay, so tell me what happened, like, what items are missing, da da da. So she was like, yeah, I've been waiting for you to come and fix. I don't know. She was saying some weird stuff. She was saying some really, really weird stuff. Like, I've been waiting for you to come and fix this, and I've been waiting for you for a long time, or something. I was like, what? But she wasn't saying like a long time, meaning that day. She was making it seem like she's been waiting for years. Like, she was just, she was being extra, extra, extra weird. And I was just like, huh? And she was like, yeah, someone came and stole like my kid's stuff, went into the lady's house, realized she didn't have any kids. So she thought she had kids, and she didn't. And she said that she was missing a bunch of stuff, but when I was looking around, every single thing that she said was missing was in the apartment. she just had probably moved it to different places, but every single item that she said was gone was still in the apartment. So I should have did a story time about this. I really should have did a story time about this on my channel, but whatever, I'm telling you guys now. So basically, like, I was walking around, I said, is this one of the items? She said, yeah, that's one of the items, but they took it from me. And I was like, well, who are they? And then I don't know, it was just so weird. And basically, like, I noticed there was just roaches walking there was roaches literally like on the floor, on the walls. And I don't mean like 1, 2, 3 roaches. I mean like 15 roaches on one wall, 15 roaches on another wall, like 100 on the floor, like baby roaches and stuff on the floor. Like, it was nasty. So this lady, she had crayons. So I think she made herself think that she had kids or something, and she really didn't. She had crayon writing like on the wall in her apartment, but it was all up high. And she was like, yeah, my kids did that. And it's like, if you have kids who are, as she said, like 5 years old or something, if you have kids that young, they can't get that high up to write on, even if they were standing on a chair. It was very tall. So I was like, okay. So I was like, I left something in my car. I'll be right back. I have to go get something out of my car. And she's like, okay. And then I went outside, I went downstairs, came back, and then as soon as I came back upstairs, I called dispatch. Yeah, that's how I did. I went downstairs, called dispatch. I said, hey, I'm not sure what's going on with this lady, but I feel like something is off with her, so I need another officer out here. And they said, okay. So it was so funny because that was, like I said, this is my first year. So there's different codes that officers run. One of them is code 3. And they asked me, did I need officers to come code 3? And this was like 2 months after I got off of training. I didn't know what code 3 meant because I never had to call officers to the scene before. So I didn't know what code 3 meant. But code 3 is like lights and sirens, a bunch of officers coming fast. So I was like, yeah, I need an officer to get here. They're like, code 3. I was like, yeah, just send somebody. And so when the officers arrived, it was like 7 cars pulled up, and I was like, why did so many of y'all come? And they were like, you sent us, they was like, you needed us code 3. And I was like, I didn't know they was going to send this many people. And they was like, okay, well, what's going on? So then I told them what was going on, and they was like, oh, that lady, yeah, she's schizophrenic. She calls all the time. And I was like, so y'all requested us out here for somebody that y'all knew was schizophrenic. They was like, yeah, well, we have it in our notes that she's schizophrenic. And they had in their notes for the officers to own, like, it had to be at least 4 officers that go to her house. If anyone goes, it has to be at least 4 people. And I'm like, y'all didn't tell us that though. And I'm here by myself, like, again, 2 months off of training. Like, I go to this lady house by myself. I'm small, like, I'm little. This lady she wasn't huge or anything, but still, it's like, if she tried to do anything, like, and then she's schizophrenic, she already is seeing stuff. She thinks she got kids. She was like talking and stopping and looking different places, like as if she saw something that wasn't there. Like, it literally looked like she was scared of stuff in her house. Like, she would look at it and she would just stop. And she looked like she was terrified. And then she would just start talking again like nothing was wrong. So that was really, really, really weird. And that is one of the scenes that I often think about. Whew, y'all, I can be really long-winded. And this is, if y'all watch my crime scene videos, this is the reason why I be speeding up my crime scene videos, because I be trying to get everything in under 15 minutes. It's already been 24 minutes and I only answered 3 questions so far. Okay, so let me go to the next one. Okay, Ratu Ika. I hope if I say anybody's name wrong, I'm sorry. So Ratu Ika says, what major did you take to become a CSI? By the way, I hope you're doing well. Thank you. I am doing great. And what major did I take? So I majored in forensic biology. I think I said this earlier. If I didn't, then okay. I majored in forensic biology. I went to Delaware State University, which is a HBCU in Dover, Delaware. And I just graduated with my master's of science in crime scene investigation from Stevenson University. Okay. Kaman says, I've been working on thinking like Sherlock Holmes. My observations and dedication are okay. I can solve murder cases too well. In my little book with murder cases, I also write mystery stories. Oh, mystery stories. That's really interesting. I used to like to write, this is so off topic for me to say. I used to like to write different stories and everything. I never wrote mystery stories, but I think that that's like really interesting and really cool because it does take like a lot of dedication to sit down and write different stories. But I think that's really cool. And you should probably, if they're really, really good, you should probably get them published. Because people like mystery novels and stuff like that. Okay. Terry said, is it difficult to work with patrol officers and detectives at a crime scene? It sounds chaotic. Is it difficult to work with patrol officers and detectives? Yes. Sometimes it really can. It can be chaotic. It can be annoying sometimes working with certain individuals. Not all. There are a lot of good officers out there. And then also being a crime scene investigator, you work in a police department, and you work on one shift, or well, I don't know. I worked on one shift. Excuse me. Sorry guys, I'm pregnant, so if I burp, I'm sorry. Okay, so as on the department that I worked for, I worked on the midnight shifts. So we have regular shifts. So you come to that shift every day, and when you go into different scenes, you're gonna run into the same officers over and over and over, because officers, they work in different areas of town, the same areas of town. So basically you get to know the officer, you get to know the different officers and the different detectives. It's a lot less detectives than there are officers, obviously, because detectives are like kind of like in specialized units. Like, say for us, we would deal with the homicide detectives, sexual assault detectives, things like that. And basically, sorry, I just saw another question come in and I was trying to look at it. But yeah, so you're gonna deal with like a lot of different detectives and officers. Some of them have better attitudes than others. I mean, but at the end of the day, like, everybody is a different person. Everybody is human and has a different personality. So everyone's not always having the best day. Like I said in my crime scene videos before, like, when you going out to scenes, you're going out and dealing with people on their worst day because something bad has happened to them or to one of their family members. So that can affect you and that can affect your mood. So just like things can affect me, like when I saw that the guy get killed, when I saw him get killed, that affected my mood the rest of my shift. And I'm sure officers go out to different scenes and have to deal with suspects where it affects them and it affects their mood. And sometimes they may not mean to take it out on us or be snappy with us, or, they may not mean to, but it happens. Just like I'm sure sometimes crime scene investigators can be really short with police officers. And some police officers have complained about crime scene investigators, not necessarily me in particular, but I know some of my other friends who are crime scene investigators, they've received complaints because some officers felt like they were rude, I guess, or like too straight to the point. Like, because sometimes because as crime scene investigators, like, you see so many different things and you go to scenes and you're like, okay, like, what do I need to know? Like, we just walk up to the officers like, hey, what's going on? What happened? Like, we get straight to the point. And sometimes it can come off as really like abrasive, I guess. Like, it can kind of seem rude, but I think it also just depends on if you know those officers or not, or if they've worked with you before. So yeah, it just depends. But like I said, everyone has a different personality. So some people are having better days than others. So some are nicer than others, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes they can be jerks. It just happens. Okay. How are your observation and dedication skills? I don't know what you mean by dedication skills, but as far as observation skills, I'm very observant. I'm very observant. I don't I don't think I said the word right. I can't think right now. My observation skills are very good, especially when I'm at a crime scene. So to be a crime scene investigator, you have to pay attention to detail. And that means when you are writing reports, when you are doing a crime scene sketch, when you are looking for evidence, when you are taking photos, like just everything. Like you have to pay attention to details as a crime scene investigator. And yeah, so basically you do have to be very observant. And I swear I'm not saying that word right. But you have to be able to observe everything. You need to also be able to observe your surroundings when you're at a scene, especially if it's late. Because sometimes I'll be at scenes at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning on a, like, you could be on a highway with no lights around you. Like, you need to be able to see what's going on around you, the evidence that's out there, and not miss anything. Because the one thing you're gonna hate is having to come back to a scene because you forgot something. So you have to make sure that you go to the scene, you do everything that's necessary, get everything done, get everything collected, take all the notes that you need to, have as little mistakes like as possible on your notes, because that gets translated to your report, etc., etc. All that goes hand in hand to your observations and being observant and being very, very detailed. So yeah. Come on, if you can explain what you mean by dedication skills. I don't know what you mean by that. Jaleesa says, this may be a little bit out of your realm of work, but is it possible to become a PI with a forensic investigations major and criminal justice minor? Thanks. PI meaning private investigator. If you mean private investigator, let me read this again. Is it possible to become I'm going to assume you mean private investigator. Is it possible to become a private investigator with a forensic investigations major and criminal justice minor? I believe so. Yeah, if you mean private investigator, I do believe that you would be able to become a private investigator with those degrees. I think that those are right in the same alley. I think those are right in the same alley. And private investigators, I've looked at private investigators as a career before, but I think sometimes with private investigators, they also want you to be like a sworn police officer so that you can carry a gun. So say if you went to police academy, so in Texas they have something called TCOLE. So police officers have to pass the TCOLE, and that's how they get like their license and all that kind of stuff. So you go to police academy, you pass TCOLE, your TCOLE exam, you're licensed. You are now a licensed peace officer in the state of Texas. And then you decide, I don't want to work for this police department. I'm going to go and do my own thing. I'm going to be a private investigator. Cool. You have the degrees, the forensic investigation degree and criminal justice minor. Those are all good things. So, but I do think you have to be sworn police officer first before you can be a private investigator. So that's something you got to look into. I wasn't a private investigator, so I don't 100% know if that's like the 100% right answer. So I hope that helps. But that's something that you should look at. Go to governmentjobs.com. This is like one of the best websites to go as far as like jobs in the police field, career field, stuff like that. So go to governmentjobs.com and see like type in private investigator and then just look at the description and everything that you need, like the description requirements, and look at everything that you need to be a private investigator. Okay. Sydney says, I'm a junior in college, majoring in criminal justice and criminology with a minor in criminalistics. That is very good. And wanting to do CSI. That combination right there is just really good. Criminal justice and criminal. Okay, so Sydney, if you're still on here, I have a question for you. Is the criminal justice and criminology, is that the whole major? Like that's the name of the major? Criminal justice and criminology? Okay, so with a minor in criminalistics and wanting to do CSI, do you have any recommendations for internships that would be beneficial? Yes. So, Sydney, as far as internships, what I think you should do is I think that you should first figure out which police departments you want to work for. That's number one. If you're going to be a crime scene investigator, you're going to be working at a police department. So do you want to stay in the area that you currently live in? Do you want to go somewhere else? Whatever you do, call up to the police departments and see if you can do a ride along. So this is for Sydney and for anybody else on here who's in college and wants to become, or even if you're in high school and you want to become a crime scene investigator. What you all need to do is call the police departments, see if you can get a ride along with the crime scene unit. Ask them specifically, does your crime scene unit offer ride-alongs? And if they say yes, tell them you would like to schedule one. Tell them you want to take a tour. So do that, and then once you do the ride-along, first of all, the ride-along is going to let you really see and know firsthand, is this something that I think I can do? Because crime scene investigation is not for everybody. Like we had some interns come to our job, when I was a crime scene investigator, come to our units, and they decided that they really didn't like it that much after they were actually working, with us and sometimes being able to come to the scenes and stuff, or they just felt like they may not have been cut out for it. So you have to actually like get exposed to it, and see, is this really what you want to do? And by seeing that this is what you want to do, that's when I would apply for an internship. So usually to apply for the internship, you may have to contact either the head of the crime scene unit. Sometimes you can find that information out on the police department's website. If not, you would contact like the recruiting office for the police department. The recruiting office is the same recruiting office you would contact if you were trying to get into the police academy, but you just call them and just say, hey, like I'm a college student. I'm interested in doing an internship. Do you all have any internships available for the crime scene unit, for you guys' crime scene unit? If they say yes, ask how to apply. If they say no, then my next suggestion would be to ask them, do they have any internships in homicide? So if they don't have any internships in the crime scene unit, ask them, do they have any internships in the homicide unit? If they do, see if you can intern with the homicide unit. And the reason why I say that is because the homicide unit, you are always going to go to a crime scene. Some detectives don't always have like active like crime scenes that the type of crime scenes that you're going to want to see in an internship, that you need to be exposed to see if you are really going to be a crime scene investigator or not. Because you can go on a ride along and see a residential burglary, but that's not going to let you know if you're cut out to be a crime scene investigator for an extended period of time. So you need to see like the real nitty gritty stuff. So see if you can do an internship with a homicide unit, or with like an assault unit or sexual assault unit. Those are also good as well. But number one would be crime scene unit. Number two, homicide unit. So those are the two suggestions I have as far as interning. if you want to be a CSI. You could also possibly do an internship with like the morgue or the coroner. I don't know what city you live in or what state you live in. Some states still have coroners, some don't. Some of them have medical examiners. So if you could get an internship with the medical examiner's office and work underneath, like intern with the medical legal death investigator. That's a really long word, but I don't know if everyone has heard that name before, so I'm going to say it again. The medical legal death investigator. So medical legal death investigators, they come to crime scenes whenever someone has died, so that they can collect the body. They examine the body, they do their own investigation, and they examine the body and they take the body away. Because crime scene investigators, we don't take the body, we don't touch the body, we just look for evidence and stuff around the body, take pictures of the body, etc., etc. The body does not belong to the police department. The body does not belong to the crime scene investigator. It goes with the medical legal death investigator, and then they get it to the funeral home or however that works. So, yeah, if you can't get an internship with the police department in the crime scene unit or homicide unit or an assault unit, see if you can go to a medical legal death investigator. Because they're going to get you the same exposure to crime scenes that you need to see if that's really what you want to be in. Okay. Congratulations for Mr. Leonard. Thank you. Okay, Kaman says, how can I become a private detective when I'm done with college? Okay, so a private detective, I guess that's kind of similar to like a private investigator. And again, like as I stated earlier I think it was Jalissa. Yeah. So like I stated earlier, I've never been a private investigator. I've never been a private detective. So I do not know 100% the correct way of going about that. But my suggestion is to go onto governmentjobs.com and look up private investigator or private detective jobs. And I do believe that you have to be licensed as a peace officer in order to be a private detective or a private investigator. So yeah, you should probably do that. That would be my suggestion. Okay. Let me go back and look up. Come on, tell me look up 1 second, everybody. Okay. Deductions like Sherlock Holmes. Okay, you're saying with the Sherlock Holmes, you say he can look at a person and be able to tell their whole life story. Again, I never watched Sherlock Holmes. I've never read the book. I think does Sherlock Holmes have a movie? I feel like there's a movie about Sherlock Holmes. I'm like not 100% sure, but I've never read Sherlock Holmes, the book. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are very intuitive like that, where you can look at a person and you can just, know a lot about them or feel like a lot about the person just by looking at them or whatever. Let me see. Next question. Sorry guys, I'm looking at my computer right now because I'm trying to look at all you guys' questions because I'm doing a live stream through my phone. So give me 1 second. Okay. City said, I was thinking about a coroner's office and I'm also waiting to hear back about doing a ride along with a CSI team. Good. Thank you so much for helping out. Congratulations on the baby. Thank you so much, Sydney. And good luck also with if you do the coroner's office, but also for, trying to get the ride along. Oh, and also if you cannot do a ride along with a crime scene unit, or a homicide unit or anything, police officers, they also offer ride-alongs. Like, you can go and you can do a ride-along with a police officer as well. I don't know if you're interested in doing that, but some people are. So I would suggest you could also do that, because you know, police officers, they go to many crime scenes too. They go to other stuff that are not crime scenes, but they do go to a lot of crime scenes, so that could be another way to get exposure as well. But yeah, good luck, Sydney. Okay. Terry said, are the CSIs in the unit usually older or younger in age? Okay. So, crime scene investigators can vary in age. I started when I was 22, and yeah, wow, I started when I was 22. So there, I was the youngest person in my unit when I started. The minimum to be a police officer, I think, is like 19 and a half. So I assume, I mean, you have to have a degree. So let's just say whenever you graduate from college, if you graduate, I think you definitely have to be 19 or older to work for the police department. So I'm going to say maybe the youngest that you could be is 19, or whatever the age is for that police department. Some police departments may vary. Some may say 18, some may say 20. I don't know. So I think whatever the age is for that police department is the minimum that you have to be to do the job. And then, so like I said, when I started, I was the youngest person in the crime scene unit. And then there were people, the oldest person in the crime scene unit that I was in his 60s. Yeah, he was in his 60s. And what was he in his, like, yeah, he was in his 60s, because yeah. So it really can vary. And that person who was in their 60s, he's been a crime scene investigator for like over 30 years, and he's still doing it. So it really just depends. You know, if this is something that you want to do. Some people start later on in life. Some people start when they're young and they stick it out. But honestly, a lot of crime scene investigators, like statistically, are only okay, so usually when someone becomes a crime scene investigator, statistically, they only stay in that career field between 2 and 5 years. And I believe that a major part of that is due to the trauma and the mental, I talk a lot about mental health in like my crime scene videos and stuff, but I think that the trauma that you're exposed to and the way that crime scene investigation can affect your mental health, I think that all of that has to do with how long people stay crime scene investigators. So me, I stayed a crime scene investigator almost 6 years. And I'm currently not a crime scene investigator, but like I said before, like I just finished my master's degree and I got my master's of science in crime scene investigation, so I could go back into it. But if I go back into it, I don't want to be a crime scene investigator. I would want to be like in a supervisory position. So it really just it just depends. And like everybody is different. If you want to stay in it, you know, people have different motivations for wanting to stay in it. But a lot of people that leave the field, a lot of them have the same reasons why they want to leave the field. And sometimes the reasons can go from issues with administration, like feeling like the administration doesn't care. This is so, like, I'm just now at this point, I'm just kind of like rambling, but it kind of all plays in together with this question. But so administration can cause a lot of issues with people, or people like feel like they have a lot of issues with administration, or feeling like overworked and overwhelmed, feeling like they're starting to have mental health issues like anxiety or depression because of all the stuff that they've seen. That can all play a role in how long you stay in this career field. So if you start younger, you may stop being a crime scene investigator. Like for me, I stopped before I was 30 years old. But if I started when I was 30, I think that my mind would have probably been a little bit more mature, because I started when I was 22. Like 22, like I still feel like I was a child at 22. So if I started when I was older and I was more mature, like mentally, I probably would have stayed a lot longer than what I did. But then again, there are some people who came into the unit in their 30s, and they left after like a year, and they was like, oh, I'm not putting up with this BS. Like, oh, I'm not putting up with this. So it really just depends on the person, how long you're going to stay in the field. But yeah, crime scene investigators range in all ages. Okay. Jaleesa said the BBC show is so good. What BBC show? I don't know what BBC show. Oh, Sherlock Holmes. The BBC show Sherlock. I've never seen that either. So, okay, you know what? I need to check it out, because y'all are talking about this, and now y'all are making me interested in it. So, I might check the Sherlock Holmes TV show out, if that's on BBC. Kaman says, is there math involved in being a detective? Again, I was never a detective. I don't want y'all thinking that. I was a crime scene investigator. So I'm going to say it again. A detective is a sworn police officer who got promoted to being a detective. So usually, okay, so not every police department, they have a different ranking system, but the police department that I work for, first you are just a police officer. Then if you get promoted, you're promoted to the next step from police to police officer is senior corporal. So I should have gone up. So senior corporal. So police officer, then senior corporal, then sergeant. So a senior corporal can be a regular senior corporal or detective. Senior corporals and detectives are the same exact level. Police officer is right here, and then your senior corporal. So the difference between senior corporal and detective is that a senior corporal is usually still in patrol, and a detective left patrol and went to the homicide unit or assaults unit or gangs unit or sex assault unit, or I don't know, somewhere else, like another unit. But a detective is a senior corporal who was put into an investigative unit. That's how it was for the police department that I work for. I don't know about all of them, how it works for all of them, but that's my understanding from my experience as crime scene investigator in the department that I worked for. So as in regards to, is there math involved? Yes, there can be math involved in regards to detective work or investigative work. I don't want to say being a detective, because again, I wasn't a detective, I was a crime scene investigator. So I know that I had to do math before different times, and usually it's just like counting. It's not like you're sitting up here doing the Pythagorean theorem, or you're sitting up here looking up obtuse angles and stuff like that. Like, it's like counting. Like, I've had to count like a bunch of money before, like a couple $1,000s or stuff like that. Like, I've had to count a lot of money before because it was collected from a crime scene. And usually if we collect a lot of money from crime scenes, then we give it to the officers. So the police officers, or usually the police officers, not the detectives. The detectives usually don't take it. They may take it after the fact or come back and they'll meet us at the property room to see it, but they don't usually take it with them. We'll give it to the police officers, and then the police officers, patrol officers, whatever, they'll take the money or whatever to the property room, and then they'll count it. But if there's blood on it, like biological evidence or semen or anything like that, then we would take it because we have to dry it because it can't go there wet. And yeah, I don't know if they take it if it's just wet with like water or something, but usually we just take it if it's like blood on, like biological evidence on it. So then that's when, in those cases, yeah, I will be counting money. I will be counting different you can count different things as well, like not just money. It could be other types of evidence. So it's never like crazy math. Like, you're not about to be sitting there like y equals mx plus b. You're not about to be doing that type of math. It's like, how many of this is there? How many cartridge cases do you see? How many guns are at the scene? Okay, if I got this many ones in this pile, I got this many fives in this pile, how much is it? Like, like things like that. So yeah, there's a little bit of math involved. As far as detectives, I don't know if they do other types of math. I'm talking as far as my experience in as a crime scene investigator. Now, if a police officer probably has like the same experience that the crime scene investigators have as far as it goes when it comes to counting evidence and stuff like that. But I don't know about detectives offhand. So, okay, Cadence. I have a cousin named Cadence. Cadence Lynn says, how long do you have to go to school? So typically you have to go to school for at least 4 years because they want you to have your bachelor's degree. So this is a question that is a question that is asked a lot on my crime scene videos is how long, like what type of majors do you have to do when you do go to school? So you need a bachelor's degree in, I'll say, one of the following majors: forensics, like forensic science, forensic biology, forensic chemistry, some type of forensics. Next, I would say criminal justice or criminology. Those are all good majors if you want to be a crime scene investigator. If the school that you want to go to or are going to does not offer one of those majors, then the next step that I would say is major in a physical science, such as biology or chemistry, something like that. Because you do use, because first of all, forensics is a type of science. And really what it is the science that's applicable to law. So you do need a basic understanding of science and everything if you're going to be a crime scene investigator. So yeah, major for 4 years, bachelor's degree in forensics or criminal justice, criminology, or a physical science. Okay. Terry, you're welcome, Sydney. And Terry says, how is testifying in court? Okay, so testifying in court, it varies. Like, I actually just did a video not too long ago about courtroom testimony. Did I? Wait, I think I uploaded a video about courtroom testimony. I believe, yeah, I did. I think the last CSI video I did was about courtroom testimony. So, basically, guys, okay, sorry, let me interrupt what I'm saying really quick. It's 7:57 right now where I'm at, and I planned on ending, I only wanted to do this for an hour. So it's coming up on an hour now. So this is going to be the last question that I answer, and I might do another, I might do another Q&A, like next week or in a couple weeks or something like that. Yeah, so anyways, let me go back to the question. So testifying in court, it can be very nerve-wracking, especially if this is your first, if it's your first time. Even if it's not your first time, like, you can testify like 10 times and be nervous each time. So for me, as a since I was as a crime scene investigator for up to almost 6 years, I testified a lot, and I testified on a lot of major crime scenes, like a lot of homicides and stuff. And I also testified on a high profile case. So one of the last major, before I left my job, one of the last major courtroom testimonies that I did was a major high profile case that was it was broadcasted nationwide and internationally. Like, it was a really crazy case involving it was a shooting. It was an officer involved shooting, and they killed an unarmed black man. That's all I'm gonna say. Because that happens so often now. yeah, that type of thing happens so often now that if I just say shooting of an unarmed black man, like it's going to be still kind of hard to pinpoint which case it was. But I don't want to like put out there which police department I worked for and stuff like that, because my opinions are my opinions, and I don't want you guys to think that I'm representing a police department. So yeah, that testimony was probably the most nerve-wracking testimony that I did, and that was only because I knew that it was being filmed. I knew that like the whole nation was like tuning in to it, and it was crazy, like seeing the officer there who I had seen at crime scenes before, and they were on stand, like on stand. And it's crazy because it's like I've worked with this person on scenes before, and now I have to testify in regards to what how I saw, the things I saw at the scene, and they were the shooter. They had openly admitted to shoot. Everyone knew that they was a shooter. So it was just really, really crazy being in that position. Like, it was just like a big difference when it's just like when you're only just testifying, and the only person you're really going against, or whatever, not really going against, but the only person that you remember from the scene is the suspect or whoever. Because like, say if you so many scenes I've gone to, like I've seen suspects, or like if they brought suspects to headquarters and you take photographs of them and stuff, or if you go to the jail and you have to like take photographs of them at the jail, or take DNA swabs of them at the jail, or whatever. So you can see suspects a lot of different times. And just because they're suspect doesn't mean they're innocent or guilty. They could just, be in the holding stage or whatever. And where we would see them, we would photograph them or whatever. And then you see them later on in court, and you're going to testify to evidence that either will put them in jail or get them out of jail or whatever. Like, you testify to your findings. So it's a big difference when it's like, this person, okay, I don't really know this person, I've seen them one other time, probably don't even remember because it was probably like a year ago. But when I had to testify and the officer was there, it was like so much harder, because it was like I've worked with this person so many times, and it's like all this just crazy. It was just crazy. But yeah, so there's just a lot. There's a lot of different things when it comes to courtroom testimony that I talked about in the courtroom testimony video. And I think that the one piece of advice that I have for everyone who's going to testify in court, well, a few pieces of advice, a few short pieces of advice. Know what you're talking about before you go on stand. Like, read over your reports, read over your notes. If you drew a crime scene sketch, go over your sketch. Like, look through your pictures, know what you're talking about. Do not mix up cases. Like, go up there and know what you are talking about, because they can trip you up so quick, or they can say the wrong date, and then your whole testimony is just off. Like, you need to know exactly what you're talking about, what you did, when, where you went, what you collected, why you collected it, where you took it after you collected it, everything. Like, you have to know. And also, my other thing is to breathe. So I mentioned in my crime scene video, my crime scene testimony video, that what I do is I have an Apple Watch. I don't have it on right now. I didn't in the video either. I should have had it on. But basically, if you guys have an Apple Watch, there's an app called Breathe, and it's like a little lotus flower that's blue, and it just like opens and closes and opens and closes, and it's just basically guiding you through breathing, like slowly, like whatever. So you can set it for like 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, or 5 minutes. So for the Breathe app, I would set mine to 5 minutes, because that was the longest I could do on my phone. I mean, on my Apple Watch. So I would set it for 5 minutes, and then I would turn it on right before I'm about to walk in. Like, as soon as they say they were calling me to the stand, boom, turn on the breathe and watch, walk up there, get sworn in, sit down, and then I'm sitting there like with my hands under the table so nobody can see my hands. I might be tapping my fingers or something. Like right now I'm tapping my fingers, you guys can't really see. No, you can't. Yeah, you can't see that I'm tapping my fingers. So I'll do little things like that. So that would just help me like with my nerves. And yeah, so those are that's pretty much it. Those are pretty much just the things that I would suggest that you do. Just like breathe, know what you're talking about, and then also be confident. Like you have to speak clearly, you have to speak confidently. If you don't do that, like if no one can understand you, it's like what are you up there for? Like you're not helping if you're not being clear and coherent. And you have to be confident because you need to let them know like this is what I do for a living. I know what I'm talking about. This is what I did. This is why I did it. And because sometimes they'll try to trip you up, especially if if they have a suspect and your evidence, all of your evidence may suggest that, all your evidence could get that person in jail. They may really be trying to come at, the way that you process the scene. Like, oh, well, why did you do this? Or why did you do that? And it's like, you have to know the reasons why you do certain things. And you have to be able to justify it and justify that in the most professional way. Like you have to like basically like let them know like, girl or boy, I know what I'm talking about. Like this is what I do for a living. Let them know like you're not one to be played with. Like you know exactly what you're talking about. You were trained for this. These are my credentials. Like for me, I'd be like, yeah, I graduated with I graduated with my degree in forensic biology. Now I could say I also have my master's in crime scene investigation. I did this many hours of training. These are all the training courses that I took. Like you put your credentials out there so they know like, okay, she knows what she's talking about. Like I did this many hours of field training, this many hours of classroom training, plus out of the department training, like yearly trainings, annual trainings, stuff like that. So it's like there's so many different things that you just have to talk about to put yourself out there when you are first about to testify. So yeah. Okay, so I haven't received any more questions on here, and it is past 8 o'clock. It is currently 8:06 where I am, guys, and I planned on stopping at 8, so we're 6 minutes over, which is perfectly fine. I really, really appreciate all of you guys that tuned in, everybody that has watched this video, if you shared this video or just watched it, whatever. Like, thank you so much. This is my very first live stream. I was not expecting it to be a bunch of people. I literally was just hoping that there were at least 5 people and there's more than that. So thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. I want to do another live stream in regards to crime scene investigation. And I don't know if it's going to be, obviously it's going to be it's probably going to be some type of Q&A, but it's not going to be as broad. It might be more specific. Like it might be about, I don't know, like maybe I'll make a post and I'll let you guys tell me what you guys want to talk about live, because I'm gonna try to hurry this up because I talk a lot. So oh, Elizabeth said that, hold on. Elizabeth said, I barely joined. Oh, it's okay. We'll do another one. So, dang, I forgot what I was going to say, y'all. I'm so tired. I really, really appreciate you guys joining in and everything. And yeah, we're going to do another one of these. I'll make a post so you guys can tell me what you guys want to talk about. And yeah, we'll go from there. And, oh, Sarah, thank you. Thank you so much. That's my friend Sarah. Okay, so yeah, I'll see you guys next time. I'm going to leave this video up so it'll still be available for people to see, for anyone who missed the live. Yeah, so we'll do this again sometime. Thanks for watching, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, I'm assuming that everybody's watching this is subscribed to my channel, but if you're not, then just go ahead and subscribe, and then hit the bell next to the subscribe button. Or if you know somebody interested in crime scene investigation, send this video to them so that they can see it, and tell them to subscribe to my channel, so when I do my crime scene videos, that y'all can stay updated with everything. And I'm gonna post more CSI videos soon. I have a lot of CSI content that's going to be coming. I know that's what you guys want to see, and I'm here for it. I got you guys. So yeah, thanks so much. Bye. Wait, if I can figure out how to end this. Okay, bye guys.